Hey, what's going on, guys? So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to use the Roto Brush tool in After Effects to remove your background or put something behind your main subject of your video. But on top of that, I'm going to show you how to do it starting in Premiere, moving into After Effects, but then keeping that video in your Premiere timeline the whole time. So first of all, you want to import your clip or clips for your project. So if they're already in here, they're already in here. You can either import here or just open up your files and drag them in. So here we have our clips. This is just an example, but this is a little shoot I did for the Kudos baseball jersey that came out actually last year, but you can check that out if you want. KudosBRND.com. There's this and a bunch of other stuff now. So I'm just using this because it's a quick, simple subject that I can use. So let's bring this down here, make a new timeline project. This is just a whatever clip of me standing. So maybe let's try using, what's this one? I need one. Let's try using, yeah, here, let's use this one of me walking instead. So if we drag this over here, we don't need we unlink for the audio. And then it's just me walking towards the camera. You can see the jersey there. So what I want to do is I want to put the Kudos logo behind me here with the Roto Brush tool. And we can drag a couple more clips down if we wanted to. I don't hate this one. Let's drag that in. Another way to get rid of your audio is just by right here. You can grab just this video looking icon. You just get that without the audio. So let's drag this over. So I don't remove my backgrounds in Premiere, like I said at the beginning. I will either open up the video in After Effects itself, or what you can do, you find your clip here. So if it's either one, right click on it, and you can go up here to replace with After Effects composition. You click that. What that's going to do is that's going to open up After Effects linked with Premiere. So this clip will then be an After Effects project, and anything you do in After Effects, it will change it in Premiere. So once After Effects opens up, you can decide where you want to put the project. I'm gonna put it back in the same spot as the other one here, and then we'll call it Kudos logo back for now. Fine. Save. So what that's gonna do, it's gonna open up our same exact video here in After Effects, and now we can get to roto brushing. So if you don't know what the roto brush tool is, it's pretty much kind of like in Photoshop where you can like select your subject and then remove it from the video. It's similar, I guess it would be the best explanation here, but it's up here. It's called Roto Brush tool. So what you want to do is you want to click on that. You want to double click on your clip here. So down here, I realize my camera's covering that up. Here, let me move that real quick. So right here in your After Effects timeline, you can double click on your clip and that'll bring it into its own layer up here. So here's your full composition. Now you have a separate layer of just the video. So what you're gonna do is you have this green cursor here, and I can make it bigger. So you see this green cursor. Anything you select with green, it's going to put a barrier or like an edge around. So let me make this just a little bit smaller. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just do a quick little kind of like rough shape with inside of myself. And as you see there, it does a pink outline. The warning message I got here, this yellow bar that popped up, I've been pointing at the screen, sorry, right here. Frame rate does not match because my Premiere Pro project is 23.9, where this video was shot at 59 or 60 frames, 59.94 FPS. So to get your best refined edge, you can make that project. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll go up here to composition settings, and then I'll make it 59.9, and the error goes away, but it still keeps your project at 23.9 in Premiere. So you see this pink line around me. As you see, I didn't get my hand down here. I want it to not have like this in between of my legs here. And then, so what you're gonna do is green. I want it to pick up my hand, select the green. You can hold Alt, your cursor turns red. And as you saw there, I just clicked here, let me back that up. Oops, I hit space. Go back. Your cursor turns red, so it's negative. If you see right here on the thing, let me make it bigger here. There's a negative in there, plus for green, negative for red. Pretty self-explanatory. When it's red, it removes the highlight, and when it's green, it adds it. So let me make this smaller. Click in here, but then as you see, it took away some of my pants, so then we're just gonna recolor that green. You just gotta mess with it. Just like that. It's not 100% perfect, but that's not bad. Okay, so once you have that rough outline, I'm noticing over here, kind of picked up this gray in the back, so we're just gonna red highlight that. Yep, and it's pretty good. It looks like my knuckle over here. There we go, that's better. A little bit over here, it's just blending with the background a little bit. To get that hand, I'm just holding H, being able to move around with the hand tool and then letting go. Because if you click it once, you get the hand tool, but we don't want that. We're on the roto brush. Looks like a little bit of my pants here. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so once that's good, you can either hit spacebar and it'll start going, or you can go frame by frame by going page up or down on your keyboard. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna page down. That's gonna move me forward a frame. So a page up goes back, page down goes forward. As you see, when I go up one, or when I go forward one, which would be page down, it picks up on this grade again. So I'm just gonna go in here, and you kind of go frame by frame. And you just check to see if there's any problems that, you know, if it starts cutting off the head, cutting out the hands, the feet. So as you see, another thing I noticed, if I go back to the beginning, here, I have a pretty decent cutout here, but if I go forward one, it goes back to not having that cutout. So I'm just gonna get the red cursor in there, perfect. Go down again, let's get that red cursor in there. And we just gotta keep an eye going frame by frame. Now what you can do, I've done a couple frames and it's been good, so I might hit spacebar here and just let it kind of do its thing, see what happens. And it's pretty smart, like here it's picking up that my arm is separated, so it's cutting that out. So as you can see now, it's running at full capacity and the cutout's not too bad. So depending on how much detail you're looking for, you can also go with there's this, if you click and hold on the roto brush, there's the refine edge tool, and that's made for like hair and stuff. If you have a lot of like, you know, longer hair coming down around the shoulders and kind of like flaring out kind of around the person, you can kind of like use the refine brush. I can do it up here just to show you guys. I don't really have much going on up here. But what it'll do is if I make this smaller, and then we'll kind of go around where my like hair would be. And what that's gonna do, let's go like that, perfect. What that's gonna do is that's gonna refine. So everything in white, it's sensing as a separate from the black there. And then the same thing, we just gotta make sure that it is good throughout. And that's just gonna help get some of those like hair follicles or like hairs, like ends, that you'll notice like without having to go through and doing each one by hand. That's gonna help kind of refine that, and that's why it's called the refine brush. Well, that's a lot for me. Refine edge tool or brush. I don't really think I need it for this exact video, but I wanted to show you guys what it does or what it's doing. Okay, so I just removed that refine edge because I do not need it for this clip. So that's, I mean, without going into too much detail, you can start. This is the version 2.0 of Roto Brush. You want a feathering, contrast, shift edge. Like I usually kind of just leave this as is. You can use motion blur if you want. For a lot of the projects that I work on, it's very simple text or like a logo behind the person. It's not up for very long. I can show you one that I did for work where I'll bring that up. Okay, so here is the clip that I started with. What I did is I did exactly what I did was I brought in, it's in my Premiere project, and then I linked it with After Effects. And then what I did is I cut this player out. And then as you move forward, you see this behind them. So if you really look at it, I did it quick. You can kind of see over here around this like neckline that it's not full. It's not like a perfect cut. But if I back up just a little bit more, you can see this one was pretty good. But it's only up for like 8 seconds, 10 seconds at the max. So like that's why like I don't spend too much time with my personal roto brush. So what you can do now is you can either go back to composition and your subject's cut out. Now you can go through and do some fine work where you like remove it in here and remove over here if you need the subject cut out. If that's what you need, other than doing some really detailed work, you are done. And you theoretically could open up Premiere, and there you go. Here's your linked AEP comp, and your subject is removed. Here, let's render this real quick. Okay, so now that the project is rendered, as you'll see here, if you watch up here, subject is removed. Now you can play with the edge, like, you know, to get some more feathering, you know, to kind of like remove some of that edge that's on there. Same with, like I said earlier, going in frame by frame and removing some of this inside stuff here. It's not that hard, it's just a little time consuming. But if we go back into Premiere, I mean, it's removed. Like that is a removed background. So theoretically, if I like grab a random clip here and just put it behind it, sorry, I gotta move that up and then bring this down. Let's make this smaller. Still too long. Let's make this smaller. As you can see, like it's removed. It's obviously gonna act a little funky because it's like a linked clip and it's not rendered, but you can see that there is behind it. Now this is the next part where so that's it. I mean, honestly, like if that's just what you want, remove background. But if I go back to this where I do the rotoscoping tool, you're obviously gonna get better lines if you spend some time on it. And then when I open up After Effects here, so we're back in After Effects, I'm at my timeline down here. I'm going to Control D, I'm gonna duplicate that layer. But then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove the roto brush, so just delete. So now we just have our video kind of back to normal. You don't really notice anything, but on top I have the roto brush. So if I rename this, we'll go roto brush, we'll go roto layer, and then rename main layer. Okay, so there's a roto layer and our main layer. So if I remove the main layer, we got a roto layer, and then you can't see when I do that. But now what I'm going to do is I am going to bring in this case, I'm going to bring in a logo, which is the Kudos, one of the Kudos logos. So let's bring out this one, right? So we'll drop this in there, this gold outlined logo. It's really big. I'm going to hit S on my keyboard. Oops, didn't mean to do that. There we go. Hit S on my keyboard while I have the subject selected. That's gonna bring up scale. I'm gonna bring it down. Let's just, I don't know, let's just do, I think that's gonna be too big. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drag this in between the roto and the main layer. And as you see, that puts me on top of the logo. So theoretically, that's all I have to do. Now I've put the logo in between the background and myself. Now I should get in here and fix in here so you can still see the letters coming through, but it's really not that bad. So there is our final, if you will. Let's jump back into Premiere. As you see, now it is in here in my Premiere project. I'm going to give this a quick render. Okay, now that this whole timeline is rendered, you can see here's the project or composition that we made in After Effects, where I am in front of the logo, but the logo is between the background and myself. So there's that one. I think that's where I'm going to leave it, to removing backgrounds and stuff in Premiere using After Effects with ROTOBrush. ROTOBrush is a very cool tool, and it works pretty well. As you guys saw, I did not spend a lot of time on it, and the only thing that I think I would go in and like fine tune a little bit more is this kind of like gap between my arm and my body here, just at the beginning here, like right here. But then once you get to about here, you see it comes in. So there, it's good. That's like perfect. I would just kind of spend more time on that gap there, but everything else is pretty good. And you can do things, loads of things with it. You can make the logo smaller, where it's just kind of like behind part of the body, and all those different things. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. The hope the tips helped you in some way. If you have any questions, let me know below. I plan to make more detailed videos about masking and maybe ROTOBrushing if you guys want to see a little bit more. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and yeah, I'll see you in another video. Bye guys.